the folks that we turn to when we want to hear about feminist voices, particularly black feminist women. And you've got the academy and you've got the people, right? But why is there this difference between the academy and the people? Why is the academy not made up of the people? And why are we not looking to the people to be the academy? Okay? Why do you have to have a PhD for somebody to listen to you, right? When I go as Feminista Jones, people don't know what my degrees are, and I do that on purpose. I don't want people listening to me because they think I'm allowed to speak because I have whatever degrees. I want people to listen to me because I am a black woman, period. I shouldn't have to. And so what we find a lot in this online kind of activism space is the ability for people who may not be credentialed to sound way smarter than the ones who are. Okay, so there'll be these conversations and there'll be these like 20 tweet, like just kind of thoughts that are just, I'm just like, this is something that should be in a journal. This is something that people should be paying for. This is something that the world needs to read. And it's locked in these tweets because this woman is not going to be invited to a conference like this because she's not credentialed, because she's a single mom from the inner city and she's deconstructing like anti-trans violence and nobody cares because she didn't have the pedigree. And that's a problem. We have to move away from that. All of you, I'm challenging you. You have to move away from that. You have to expose yourself to voices of people who are living this life. Okay, it's one thing to talk about activism. It's one thing to talk about oppression. It's one thing to speak about it from a very ideal place. It's another to live it day to day. And I don't know about you, but I'm way more interested in the people that are living this every day. I want to hear what they have to say. Silencing. So you'll have people that have credentials, and one particular woman I'm not going to mention, but she does this often. She says, she goes with, well, I have the PhD, and so I can speak on this, and you new feminists, you know, you don't think about the history and the past and, you know, what the movement was about, and I've studied this, and this is what I do, and you guys are, like, messing things up. And it becomes a silencing tactic. It becomes I have these credentials, so I can tell you to shut up. And that's not fair. What is that? What is life about when you can only speak when you've gone through the rigorous process of obtaining a PhD, right? So less than 30% of the American adult population has a bachelor's degree. Only about 19% have advanced degrees. Are we saying that 81% of the population is not allowed to speak? We have to think about the ways in which we're complicit to that. So what Twitter does is it allows people to have those voices and to be heard and to express that outrage and those feelings and to get other people to hear what they have to say. When I use online activism, what I'm doing is I'm able to mobilize people. And that's what I was able to do with the National Moment of Silence in 2014. If you look up the hashtag NMOS14, and you scroll back to around between August 10th and August 14th. On August 9th, Michael Brown was shot by a Ferguson police officer. He was killed. He was unarmed. He was shot. They left his body in the street for hours. Everybody was like, what's going on? Eric Garner had just been choked to death in New York. There were several incidents of police brutality that year. People were fed up. They were enraged. And somebody invited me to come to a vigil. And I said, I can't come to a vigil from the Bronx on a Sunday in Manhattan. The trains are not running right. But maybe we could do something bigger. And this was on Sunday. And I just started tweeting it out. What if we had a national moment of silence to honor all of the victims of police brutality? What if we did this across the country? What if people in different cities just said, hey, I'll host a vigil, and we'll pay homage to those whose lives have been lost and those who are still living, and we'll have a protest against police brutality? I said, let's do it this Thursday. So I figured a few people would say it, right? Within 8 hours, I had about 20 people who were saying they were going to take their city and they were going to do a vigil. By that Thursday, 4 days later, we had at least 119 vigils scheduled in 42 states and in Canada. So you've got 5 kinds of activists, in my opinion. You've got the worker bees, the people that can be on the ground, that can do the moving around. They don't have kids, they don't have jobs. They can do that, right? We can tell them what to do, they'll do it, and they'll be there with the protest signs. You've got the organizers, the community organizers, the people that are trained in organizing movements and things like that. They are the ones, the visionaries. They can kind of map it out and see how it goes. You have the backers, the people who have the money, because we can't do this without money, okay? They have the funders. They may not be able to get out there. They may not want to get out there, but they can give you the money. You've got the change makers. These are the people in the politics. They're going in. They're trying to work the system from inside out, okay? And then you've got the thought leaders and the creators and the ones who are the historians, and they are able to contextualize all of this and remind us of where we're coming from. They're the ones who are writing these pieces that are really important, that are teaching and educating people about what this feminism is all about. Some people fall into various ones, some people only fall into one, but I think we all have that role, and I'm going to echo that. We can all have a role in this activism. And so when people try to minimize this online activism, I take it, personally, because I'm like, without this space, so many of us wouldn't be able to be heard.